let's just consider the last 72 hours, Kристиан, as you reflect on what has happened. What are your thoughts?
Well, I think that reaction was one that was felt by many, many people around the world, not just Ukrainians, not just those who support Ukraine, but Americans who couldn't believe what their president and leadership was doing, and certainly Europeans and all who have never, ever, ever, ever in 250 years of the American democracy seen the United States side not with a sovereign, independent ally, democratic ally fighting for its survival, but appearing to side with the aggressor, the invader of Vladimir Putin's Russia. So that's what's going on, and that is why what happened here over the weekend is so consequential. As the Prime Minister, Keir Starmer, said, we are at a crossroads in history, and that could even be an understatement, but it's absolutely clear that is the case. The questions many have, even the Estonian president who you were just talking about, said he hopes the US remains as part of the transatlantic alliance and that NATO and US troops remain. But the fact of the matter is that to the world, and certainly to Russia, what is happening is that the president is practically breaking the transatlantic alliance and moving closer to aligning with America's historical adversary, and in this case, the aggressor in this situation. So this is what's being dealt with right now. So that's why Europe is getting together pretty fast, I might add, with pretty concrete statements and pledges, with more meetings planned in Brussels, as you know, at the EU in this week, and to pick up the pieces of what NATO, or rather what the United States, seems to be backing away from. So that's what's going on. Of course they would like to see a repair of this relationship. President Zelensky has been very clear as to say that he has thanked the United States over and over and over again. I think that many believe, including the latest from the new German winner, trying to put the coalition together, Friedrich Merz of the conservative CDU, has said that he believes it wasn't a spontaneous outburst and that it was a manufactured outburst from the US side in the Oval Office. So that's pretty important. And as you know, he has said previously that we have to look and see whether we need to create our independence from America. Now, finally, from the Kremlin and from Moscow, you can see everything you've read, everything you've seen on their state media and heard from the spokesman Dmitry Peskov is this is just great as far as Putin is concerned. He sees the transatlantic alliance being, in a state of dire, dire distress right now. They are trying to promote that Europe is an enemy of the United States. They're trying to say again and again that, Zelensky is illegitimate. This is their talking points. And why are they saying it more and more? Because they had it from Trump's mouth. So this is what's happening. And on top of all of that, Becky, there has been no peace plan formulated or offered. There is nothing that we know, either the Europeans or Zelensky or the Americans. What has the Trump administration said to Putin? They say they're far down some kind of peace process, but there are no details whatsoever, and the Kremlin has not changed one iota its maximalist demands, which is to see essentially a neutralized and defanged Ukraine. So this is where we are right now.
Well, after a day in which European leaders gave urgently needed solidarity and support on the world stage to President Volodymyr Zelensky after his extraordinary meeting in the Oval Office on Friday, he gave a wide-ranging press conference, his first public remarks really addressing what happened in the White House on Friday when he met President Trump and Vice President J.D. Vance. At first, he was asked if he thought he could salvage the relationship with the United States. Here's what he said.
As regards salvaging the relationship that you asked about, I think that our relationship will continue because this is more than relationships in one moment. We need to be open. Ukraine is not the largest country in the world. However, everyone can see how Ukraine is fighting for its independence and freedom. And we are grateful to the people of the United States.
He was then asked to react to some of the suggestions from Trump's inner circle that perhaps he needs to step aside if he can't fix his relationship with the US president. Here's how he tackled the question of his resignation.
if I am to be changed, and I'll hear, how can I put it, with what's happening with the support, to change me, it will not be easy, because it is not enough to simply hold elections. You would need to prevent me from participating in the elections. And it will be a bit more difficult, so they'll have to negotiate with me. And I said that I'm exchanging it for NATO membership. And then it means that I fulfilled my mission.
He also said he was willing to sign the rare earth minerals deal, even though we've heard from US Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent that it is at present not on the table. And also, too, he struck a tone which was frankly conciliatory for most of it. Asked, though, directly by a reporter if he would apologise to President Trump, he didn't take that opportunity and instead gave an answer about Ukraine's dead and its suffering, and how, in response to suggestions he doesn't want peace, he said he would love the war to stop, not just today, but have never have started in the first place. I paraphrase his words there.
I want to ask for your view on what the Ukrainian president said after that Oval Office meeting. He repeatedly went online. He thanked the U.S. and President Trump for the help that the U.S. is giving, saying it is crucial to have the president's support, that no one wants peace more than we do. Is that enough for President Trump to get things back on track?
Well, the president took calls from Prime Minister Starmer. Yesterday, he's also taken a call from Prime Minister Meloni of Italy. President Zelensky is with those European leaders now. Those European leaders are talking to him directly about getting to the negotiation table. What does he need to see to actually negotiate with us and negotiate with the Russians, go to confidence-building measures, go to a ceasefire, and bring this horrific war to an end? And what was so, I think, stunning to all of us in the Oval Office was that it was not clear Zelensky was going to go to negotiations at all, that he would ever be able to negotiate with Putin, and whether he shared our goal of ending this war. So what I made clear as Secretary Rubio, and I said, look, this cannot proceed, was that this was a huge missed opportunity for him and for his country. He could have left the White House on Friday on the heels of an engagement with President Macron of France, with Prime Minister Starmer of the United Kingdom, where they were talking about European boots on the ground, security guarantees for Ukraine, a positive movement towards ending this war, and having Ukraine and the United States being bound together for a generation economically. But what we made clear was that could not proceed, at least for now. And President Trump said in his announcement on X, when President Zelensky is ready to truly engage for peace, he's welcome back anytime.
So what does the president need? What does President Trump need? Does he need a public apology? Does he want a phone call? Can you be specific on how to make that happen?
Well, it wasn't clear to us that President Zelensky was ready to negotiate in good faith towards an end to this war. For us, talking about the details and demands of security guarantees before, as President Trump said, look, I don't know that we can get both sides to the table at this point. And, you can't kind of trash the other side litigating through the history of this conflict if we're going to bring both sides to the table. And further, coming to the Oval Office, with the body language, the shaking of head, the arms crossed, we found it incredibly disrespectful. We were ready to sign that deal. I want to address directly that this was some type of ambush is absolutely false. We had negotiated the minerals deal in the weeks prior. It was difficult, but it was done and finalized and ready to be signed in the East Room.